Good morning to everybody. I hope everyone's having a blessed day today. Oh man, I'm just so thankful for this morning and thankful that God woke me up this morning. So, if no one minds, I know this is my show. I just want to, give a quick prayer and just thank God for the morning. Um, it's just amazing what He does for us daily. So I'm just thankful, God, for this morning. I'm thankful for UME Radio. I'm thankful for everyone that's a part of this show, the guests, from the people that are working behind the scenes. I'm just so grateful for this, God, for this opportunity and for what it's going to bring and how it's going to change the world for the better and how we're all going to impact the world and how we all can learn from each other and become one unit, become a team, because it takes a team to go big. It takes a team to win. So we thank you and we love you in Jesus' name. Amen. So I'm so grateful for today. I'm thankful for today. We have a special guest today. He'll be coming on soon. And I wanted to actually give this verse. Um, it's James 1 2 verses 2 through 4. James chapter 1 verses 2 through 4. And it goes in, it's been on my spirit for the whole week, but it just ties into everything, everyday life, your mental, your physical, spiritual health. So James chapter 1 verses 2 through 4. This is the Amplified version. Consider it nothing but joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you fall into various trials. Be assured that the testing of your faith through experience produces endurance, leading to spiritual maturity and inner peace. And let endurance have its perfect result, and do a thorough work so that you may be perfect and completely developed in your faith, lacking in nothing. So it's important. I'm not sure if my link is in the bio or link isn't, sorry, not in the bio, but link is in the show. But I was reading uh, there it is. Yes, I was reading athletes on shifting the narrative with mental health at work. So there are many athletes now that are wanting to work on their mental well-being, and if that's taking a break, then they'll take a break and walk away from the sport for a while. And it's just you being vulnerable to yourself and understanding that as an athlete there are pressures, and a lot of people that are watching, a lot of fans, they'll sit there and say, why is this athlete doing this? How come they're not making this play? How come they're not doing this? Why didn't they catch the ball? Why did they kick the ball over there? Why did he drop the ball? I mean, how come this track athlete didn't run as fast as what they normally do? With the pressures with the sport and in life, you don't know what they're going through. You don't know what's going on in their personal life that may affect them to go play. But sometimes as an athlete, I would channel it out. I would channel it out and play in the game and perform. And after the game, I'd be like, man, I performed. But then I start thinking about the things in my personal life right after. And it didn't feel good. It was just more like we get used to it and we do it. And most people will say, oh, great job, great game. We go home and no one's asking about how we actually feel. Maybe in that moment they say, how do you feel after the game? How do you feel after this run? It's like, okay, I feel great. Like I won or we lost the game. This is how I feel. We could have played better. We could have done a lot more as a team. I could have made this play. And then you think about how much um, how could I say, how much or just say how hard you are on yourself if you didn't perform how you wanted to. So then you add that on top of your personal life. So it's like, wow, I could have performed better. For myself, I'd be hard on myself. I could have made this throw. I don't know why so and so didn't catch the ball. I threw it right to him. You have all these factors and you're thinking about it. And then you go back to your home. Then you think about your personal life. You think about the game. Then the next day you're thinking about watching film. So it's just important to take a break, mental break, give yourself some peace and time, alone time, and just really understand what's been affecting you, why it's affecting you. You know, maybe you just need a renewing. And this week for me was like a renewing. There's things that I'm letting go of, there's things that God wants me to see. He wants me to feel it, but not live in it. So at times, we'll feel that same experience, but we don't have to go through that same experience. We could feel it, like I could feel it. And I'm like, okay, he just wants to remind me of who he is. And he wants all of us to elevate to a new level. So if that's old thinking, he wants us to release the old thinking. He wants to renew us and bring us up. So let's see. Things are working. How can we become more aware? You have so much fun. Definitely. Um, yeah, for sure. Athletes, they go through a lot. They go through injury. We were made, well, God made us and gave us the ability, but we've trained so much to push past the pain. And that's a good thing. But then we also set aside our feelings. And the norm in this sports world is to set aside feelings. Get over it quick. Next play, next run, next throw, next catch. Don't worry about it. But then in the film room, that's when they talk to you. And then you're like, man, sometimes I go into the film room, I'll be like, man, what did I do wrong? Did I do this right? Or I would already know what I did wrong the day of. And just, as you get older from college to professional, it becomes a little more difficult because now at the professional level, what is the film room? So that's so after a football game, we go into a meeting and we watch film, we watch the game, we rewatch the game and correct our mistakes. So as I got older, play professionally, it became tougher because now your livelihood, okay, you may get cut from the team. Those are things that are all going through your head. You may get cut from the team, or if you're a player that's on the cusp of making the team, now it becomes difficult. Now you're thinking about, well, I only caught one pass in practice today. I only threw 3 footballs in practice today. I only made one play. All those things go through your mind because you don't know what they're thinking or wanting to do. And that affects you mentally because now when you get cut or the team says, well, you did everything we asked, but we're going to move forward. Well, if I did everything you asked, then why am I not making the team? That doesn't make sense. So they don't really explain. I think it's important to have a personal relationship with your players, regardless if it's business. It's understanding the player because you want to help them grow. And I truly believe in this era, in this time, the kids, the people, they need to grow, uh, especially with the college athletes, getting paid or getting paid for their appearances or whatever they're doing now. They need guidance because now it's more pressure. Now they have money before the pros. Now, um, more pressure because they may meet more people. They may be more at events, be at more events. They may do more things now where they're in front of people. So now it's more pressure because the expectation of them is to go perform at all times. So sometimes, as an athlete, we're not going to perform at our best, but that's everyday life. You're not going to perform at your best. You may have a day where you're not performing at your best. You may have a day where your business isn't performing that week. You may have a day where conversations aren't what you want. But you have to understand that it's okay. and show yourself grace in what you're doing. Business, relationship, friendships, marriage, even with your finances, if it's not going right, even with jobs, just being grace, showing yourself grace and being grateful for what you do have of grace and being grateful. Just understanding yourself. Yep, be kind to yourself. Love yourself for who you are because you're not perfect. And it's okay to not be perfect. So, we do have a guest here. He should be coming on in a moment. There he is. We have special guest Shannon Myart. Yes, sir. He is the chair of sports and mental health for Minority Psychology Network. He also possesses a master's in sports administration education. So thank you, Shannon, for being here. I appreciate you. We do have conversations, and we had a conversation last night. So I'm just grateful that he's on here, that he's on this show, and that he's a part of something great because he's great himself.
Thank you, DeAndre. I appreciate you for having me on. This is definitely a great opportunity, a great honor to be on this show with you, and I'm looking forward to having this conversation. I think there's a lot of convo that needs to be had, a lot of dialogue, especially amongst not just athletes, but black athletes, male and men and women. So yeah, I'm definitely excited to see what we're about to go through for this talk.
Definitely. So Shannon used to play college football too. So he knows the experience of an athlete and playing as an athlete. It's just amazing. I just want him to tell us about himself. Tell everybody about yourself, where you're from, what you do. Just go ahead and give a basis or or foundation of who you are, so we understand you better.
Okay. Well, to start off, like I said, my name is Shannon. I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois. I actually grew up a baseball player before I even got to college football. Before I even thought about stepping on the football field, uh, my whole life was baseball. From the age of 3, when my grandmother put a baseball in my hand, and as early I can remember, as early as 3 years old, uh, going outside with her with the big red bat, yellow bat, baseball or wiffle ball, and her actually coming out and throwing to me, and me actually getting in, batting practice and whatnot. So, that just it just reinforced or just nurtured that hunger in me to pursue, uh, you know, continue to play baseball because such a it was such a dear sport close to my grandmother's heart. At least that's what I interpret. So I think that's what fostered my love for baseball. Going through elementary school, the only thing that I would do after school, before school, after school, in school. Sometimes I might get in trouble for it. My mom probably didn't know about that, but she might, if she sees this, she might know it now. But I used to have a baseball glove, and in my baseball in class, I used to toss the ball up in the air, when the teacher wasn't around. I used to have it in my locker. I go out there, grab the ball, have it in my hand, going through school and just thinking about, how am I gonna, beat this team, or what am I gonna do this time to improve
Yeah,
my performance? Uh, it was just those things where uh, we didn't have the resources. We didn't have, high school. My high school, we didn't have a weight room, so we were just going off of pure, talent, just grit and grind. Figuring out whatever it was we could, within our own abilities to contribute to what we could do as a team. So, you know, that was me going through high school, and you know, learning to have how to cope with not being on a winning team sometimes. That taught me a valuable lesson in not just sports but just life. Sometimes you don't win all the time. You lose. You have to learn how to lose with grace. You got to learn how to lose, and gain the lessons that come with losing, and being able to appreciate, the things to come back around, and prepare yourself for the next time that opportunities come around. So, just all of those things, all of those things played a particular part of my life. While growing up in Chicago, just learning how to maneuver, with people, just learning how to game plan, things of that nature. So, that's just a small piece of what's been going on through, my life after, living in Chicago. I have my bachelor's degree in exercise science kinesiology from Western Illinois
Yes.
University. Tried to play football there, but it ended up, not working out. So, again, learning how to have patience, and not winning at whatever it is that you want to have, whatever
Right.
it is that you want to gain. That's one of the things that from my earlier days, helped me cope with those events. Because I have friends that will tell you that, every time that I didn't get a chance to uh, do what it was that I wanted, they would see it on my face. It was just written all over. So, um, but I managed to, actually get close to, playing football when I moved down from Chicago, Illinois to Wichita Falls, Texas, being able to, you know, take all of the things that I learned throughout my life and bring it down to Midwestern State University football. Uh, Shout out to my guys Damo, Big Rob, man, my cousin Josh, all of y'all. They help foster uh, other things in me to help learn how to be on a team. When I actually got on a team, it was it's just a brotherhood that it's indescribable. So for those that I just shouted out, I love all y'all. For those that I didn't, and y'all know who y'all are that helped me out. I love it, man. But yeah, that's where I got my master's in sport administration, education, and right now I'm out here in Dallas working for the city of DeSoto as a recreation coordinator for our senior population out here.
For sure. That's dope, bro. Yeah, what you said was just the patience. You know what I mean? The patience, and that's the trial. That's the verse that I spoke about earlier. Even though it didn't work out, I just feel like God had bigger plans, and that's the same for myself. Me playing in the NFL maybe wasn't the best thing that He had for me. The best thing He had for me was after. So after something else, and something else after football. And I know one of my master coaches in California, and I just want to say thank you to my mom, my dad, my pastors, um, all of them. Pastor Carlton Delano Leonard, Pastor Lalita Leonard, my mom, my dad that lives in Trinidad. But the master coach, he told me, her name's Sylvia High. She said, DeAndre, you are your second NFL. So when I thought about that, I'm like, wow, I am my second NFL because that's me. I am my second NFL. I didn't need the NFL to be my end all be all. I am the second NFL. I am the NFL. This is DeAndre. And I'm going to do everything that God set out for me to do and that He wants me to do and that He has for me. So when I heard that, it just changed my perspective and it just made things even better for me. But I want to know what you do with MPN. We all want to know what you do with the Minority Psychology Network and how important is sports and mental health tied in together? How is it important? And what do you do to help the community? And what do you do for your own mental health? And you can take your time, however you want to answer. I think we got about 7 minutes, 6 minutes, but just answer it how you want to answer it, man. Just let it flow and let it go and let the people know who you are and what it means to you.
Okay, yeah, I definitely can't leave out the Minority Psychology Network. Right now, I serve as their chair for their sport and mental health committee. Uh, we DeAndre is a part of that group as well. So what we do specifically within sport and mental health, uh, we 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 kind of well we not kind of but we 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 look for we strive to reduce stigma around mental health already as is. But in sports and mental health, we take a look at minority athletes on all educational levels. Elementary school, high school, college, professional, and see how they maneuver through their athletic journeys before, during, or after their athletic journey. So, DeAndre, like you said, you know, like your master teacher told you, uh, being your own second, your second NFL. That's something that or I as myself, we try to foster within minority athletes. No matter what the outcome is. Uh, you can be in all high school players always, they're all looking for that big break to make it to, professional ranks. But we're always slowing them down, letting them know that, hey, sometimes it might not work out. Sometimes it does. If it does, cool. If it doesn't, we're here to let you know that this is not your end all be all. Like you said,
Right, right, right,
you
right.
have the ability to go outside of your jersey and learn about who you are as a person, uh, what your interests are outside of sports. It can even still be in sports. Like myself, I wanted to, go professional, with whether baseball or football. And I knew in the back of my mind that even though, if things may not pan out, I still have an interest for something similar that's in the realm of sports. So I stuck around without sticking around. If you know what I'm saying. But
Right.
yeah, as far as what I do for my mental health, um, I take these times, like I was thinking about it before I got on this call. I was listening to my body or whatnot, and you get those pre-show jitters or those pre-game jitters, things of that nature.
Right.
Uh, I thought about those, and I started thinking about the techniques that I tend to use. So, um, what I use, before practice, baseball or football, I would, go to a corner, sit and talk to myself. Internally, let myself know that, hey, you've been here before. Uh, this is nothing new. Keep going. You got it. Just giving yourself little pep talks like that, and then hopping
For
on and
sure.
being able to do what you do. But that's just a small portion of uh, you know being able to have to practice self care. Uh,
Exactly.
as a person or athlete, you can do all of these things. You can take 5 or 10 minutes and meditate. You can turn the lights out, meditate, do slow breathing techniques, being conscious of your breath, and just learning how to slow down and articulate your words, or whatever it is that you feel. I feel like that's another thing. Mental health tactics are uh, they're not just cut out for everybody. What it is
Right.
that you love to do, uh, what it is that you love to do to calm yourself down and prepare yourself for for the situation. That's what works for you,
Right.
and that's what I
For
encourage.
sure.
That's what we encourage.
Well, thank you, Shannon. We appreciate you. That wraps up our time. Hopefully, we can come up with an event called Outside of the Jersey. I like what you said, so just keep that in mind and write it down. So we thank you, Shannon Mayar, for being a guest. Like, comment, and subscribe and share You Me Radio to the people out there in the world. Thank you and have a blessed day.
The name of my book is Reborn. And Reborn is a story, a personal story about my journey from a place of despair to fulfilling God's purpose in my life. I have gone through a lot of challenges, a lot of, things that happened to me in my childhood all the way to my adulthood. And the Lord impressed on my heart to write my story, to share with others, because, one thing about me, I'm transparent. And I believe when you share your testimony is to help somebody else get out of their situation. Because a lot of us go through a lot of changes, a lot of challenges in life. Especially, I grew up in the church world, a very strict environment, very religious environment. And it had a lot of, stressors in my life. I didn't know who I was as a little girl. I grew up with parents. My father was a pastor, and I was totally lost in this church world. I didn't know who I was, or if I was worth anything, or if I had any type of purpose in life. So my vision about God was so warped because I never thought God loved me the way they presented it. So I was a very lonely young lady. I had a lot of low self-esteem. So I was just really trying to maneuver and to find my way, through life. So it was God who helped me through the process, even though I wasn't focusing on Him as much. I want to share something, and chapter 2, page 17, Forsaken. I just want to read a little excerpt of it. And it says, in 1975, as I attended middle school and the family moved to a large 4-bedroom apartment building, was at this situation things began to worsen for me. For instance, I was punished a lot. At times I never understood why. My father never believed that Christians told lies. For instance, if someone from the church would report to him that they saw me somewhere and was doing something wrong, I would deny it. However, I would be told that I was a liar and received the beating for it. So I became so tired of constantly being blamed and beaten for situations where I didn't have any idea. So I tried harder to be good, but notice each time I tried, it wasn't enough. And I realized that each time I would speak things, my mother would tell me to be quiet. And after a while, she developed a resentment to me. And so I struggled a lot to be a part of a family. I struggled a lot to be seen. I struggled a lot to be loved. And this book is to help others who are struggling to find out who they are and find out their identity and who they are in God and whose they are. Because it's so important to find who you are, you find yourself. Because once you know who you are and knows whose you are in God, your life changes. And then you're on a path where you're evolving and growing and building, and you are increasing in self-esteem. And the more you understand yourself, is the better you are how to handle situations in your life and even handle people. To work with people and to really learn how to be empathetic, learn how to, reach out in some way, shape, or form, and to be where, can be there in the moment with that person because you understand where they're coming from. Because you see a lot of what they're being challenged with is the same thing that you were dealing with in the past. So when God delivered me, I was able to share this story in order to help others to heal. I'm coming from someplace, a place of darkness. A new me came forth. And I'm like, God, this is a powerful title, because it sends a message, that when God rejuvenates your life, it's like you're into a new person. You're very different. It's like you're starting over again from scratch. It's like, wow, it's a new day, a new dawn. So this title was so fitting for, my journey and where I came from.